Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good morning, everybody. Let's go into the trade room. Let me just make sure we're streaming here. Okay. All right. Welcome to the CL Storage Report 10-Minute Trades Trade Room. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10-Minute Trades. Please remember that all trades we discuss are for educational purposes, and it is possible to lose money trading futures. So trade carefully, please. All right. What report just came out? Mortgages, nope. Fed, the Fed's talking a little bit, I guess. All right. Make sure you're on CL7. CL7 is the correct month. And crude is not a family money trade. It's gone through its good days and its bad days. Right now, it's going through a little bit of a strange period, crude. Let me show you why. I may have found a new trade. I'm not sure. I might know later today if I'm going to be able to be here. That's the problem, to test it. I want to test it. So crude, you could see last week was a winner, but two cancels in a row prior to that. Let's look at 428 because the analysis has an asterisk, and that means that they were unsure what the real result was. So let's see if we traded it live. Have not been trading crude live lately because it has not been profitable. Now, on the 28th, we did trade live. So let's see what happened. Now, one of the issues that we deal with on crude is I don't trade it exactly the same as the report because I don't trade multiple contracts on crude. So it looks like it did not successfully hit the first target. It tries, but it gave us 4 ticks. It did give us 4 ticks. So it was possible to get out of that trade without a loss on the 28th, depending on how you traded it. You had to do a lot of management on that trade. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube, why not give our stream a like? Because we're nice enough to do this for free 4 times a week. And you can hit the notification bell and you'll know the next time we're going to be here for free. And you can watch us. And then on the 28th, it had a very big move. But, sometimes that won't affect the way that we trade it because we have a very specific way that we trade it. So it looks like it was a winner with difficulty is what I would say. 421 was dull. A lot of times when it says dull, it means stopped. Because sometimes dull doesn't always mean you were able to get out of the trade or that you did get out of the trade. Sometimes you wait to see because sometimes it will change direction and allow you to have a profit. Now, that particular trade, I remember that week, we miraculously made $20, but everybody got stopped that day. That was not a good crude trade that day. And this is why crude is not a family money trade. It's sometimes a winner, sometimes a loser. Sometimes incredibly, it had 2 weeks in a row where it was canceled. And if I had to count on my broken fingers how many times Crude was canceled in the past 5 years, I would say once would be a lot. That's how seldom this report gets canceled. And we had 2 cancels in a row this month, the 5th and the 12th. I mean, that's unheard of. It's unheard of. But what that does is it gives you a heads up that Crude is not trading properly. So you don't need to risk your money on it until it starts trading properly. Now, last week it traded properly, but one great trade doesn't mean it's back to normal. Sometimes you have to wait a couple of weeks. And if you can't deal with waiting and using common sense in the way that you trade, then you're just going to lose money that you don't need to lose. That's really what you're going to be dealing with. If you fail to understand that you want reliable events, not unreliable events, if you don't understand that and you're not willing to skip some trades, then you're not going to do well with this method. If you're willing to understand that the less you, and this I think is true of any system, the less you trade, the more money you'll make. The more you trade, the more opportunities you give the market to take your money. You give the chance for something to go wrong. Ed, we're not trading gold, we're trading crude. CL721. CL721. You can trade gold, but it will not be a good outcome. All right? Don't trade gold. CL721. I mean, I like trading gold too, but not on the crude report, all right? Let's look at that 5-5 one more time. No fill. Hard to believe. Absolutely hard to believe. Ed, don't apologize. I'm just teasing you, man. Don't apologize. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. Honest. Do not apologize. Nobody's perfect, not even me. I mean, I'm pretty darn close, but perfect, no. My car is perfect. I never talked to a mechanic and had a mechanic tell me that there were so many things wrong with a car that I owned until yesterday. Every single part of the car is broken. The steering, the front end, the fan, the radiator, the air conditioner, the window doesn't go down. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. It needs tires. It's just unbelievable. All right, this was last week's no fill. 2 weeks ago's no fill. 3 weeks ago, May 5th. May 5th. 10-second cancel. 10-second cancel. Good morning, Zozo. Our orders are always the same. I guess they're market orders, right? Our orders are market orders. We rarely use limit orders. Zozo, the reason you don't want to use limit orders is because if there's a big move, the index will jump your order and you won't get filled. So we rarely use limit orders because in the beginning, when we first started doing this, we thought we'd be smart and we'd use limit orders because you'd think that it would fill you at the price you want to get filled. But what happens is, as you're understanding, a limit order will jump your order and you won't get filled. If a move is so fast, it'll just skip the order. And you'll miss a fantastically profitable trade sometimes. So we pretty much use market orders, brackets. And of course, nothing's perfect. It's not perfect, but it's the way we've been doing it forever. And it's pretty good. The other week that didn't get filled was the 12th. The 12th. Ten-second fill. I forgot to turn my strategy on the 12th, but you could see that there just wasn't very much movement, and that was also a no fill, because then I tested it and made a replay video where it does not fill in 10 seconds. Whoops. It does not fill in 10 seconds. So that was 2 weeks in a row, no fills. Oh, that really stinks, Fred. That pipeline crisis, that just enrages me. That's one of the things that really bothers me, that our major corporations are paying ransomware. That's outrageous. And they don't have proper backups. That's even more outrageous, right? It's just incredible. I'm telling you, I'm worried about where the nuclear codes are. They're probably on someone's external hard drive in their pocket. Let's check time sync. We check our time sync by going to the website time.is, and that puts my computer in sync. Now tomorrow we've got a bunch of trades. Today, I'm actually sorry that I didn't make a trade room for the 5-year auction today. I think I might have found a trade for that. I'm not sure, but I'm working on something. I'd love it if my idea is going to work. I'd love it if my idea is going to work. But I don't have a trade room for the 5-year auction today. So if I'm going to be here, I'll test it and make a video. So Crude, on last week's Crude, after 2 no fills, I should have known better and traded it live. Even though it's not a family money trade, there are times when I will trade Crude. But it has not been trading that well for the past couple of months. That's the truth. Crude has not been, the Wednesday Crude report has not been behaving well for at least a couple of months. It has not been a reliable profit maker. So you have to just keep an eye on it. I mean, it's going to come back and get reliable again. Last week, that was the first perfect Crude trade in a long time. A long time. Why did it, jump down like that? There was a build. The build was quite a bit bigger than the week before, but it was less than expected. So why it, sometimes Crude doesn't follow the news. I mean, that's the truth. Sometimes Crude doesn't follow the news. Okay? But it still was a very nice trade. Whether it followed the news or not, it had a great reaction to the report, and it was an excellent trade. And we see that more often than we used to lately. The world crisis has created all sorts of different reactions to the news. Reactions are sometimes slower, sometimes the news doesn't come out on time like it used to. And I think some of it's related to the fact that people have not been in their offices. I think that now we're starting to get people back into their office. We may see more normal behavior in news results because people are going to get back to doing things the way they used to. So that's what I think. I think as time goes on, some things are going to normalize. All right, so the crude trade is easy to set up. It's a breakout trade. It's a bracket of 10. And we looked into the bracket. We looked into maybe not using a bracket of 10, using a smaller bracket. We decided that 10 made sense. A target of 7 and a target of 15 if you're going to trade 2 contracts. A stop of 12. And then an entry time of 10:29:58. We've been using that entry time for 100 years, and it seems to be the best entry time. $10:29:58. Now I do want to post my webinar link. I would love it if everybody would register, please, for my Saturday webinar. We're going to have an awesome, awesome sale. Everyone will be able to take advantage of it. Everyone. Members or not. That's the truth. And I need you to register, even if you're not going to come. If you're not going to come, because it is the holiday weekend, here's the link. If you're not going to come, then we'll send you a replay. All right? We'll send you a replay. Now, unfortunately, I can't post that on YouTube. Chantal, are you able to post that on YouTube? I don't know if you're here. Are you able to post that link on YouTube? I mean, eventually I could. I just can't do it now. All right, so the setup, one more time on crude. Bracket of 10. One target for 7 ticks, one target for 15 ticks. A stop of 12, 10:29:58. Now remember, we are on family money trading for members. I'm not recommending that any members trade anything but family money trades for the next 2 months. I'm having at least one trade room a day, except that occasional Monday when there's nothing going on. And there will be some trades that I'll take live, even though they're not family money trades, because I like the trade, but I will trade it most of the time in our smaller testing account. Because tomorrow morning, I am planning on trading the GDP trade at 8:30 with Thursday jobless claims. And that's not a family money trade. There's too much. It's untested, no way to test it. So it's not a family money trade. And we have a whole bunch of new trap trades that are not yet family money trades that I am going to start trading live. So if they're not family money trades, they will not be traded in our regular account, and they will not be counted, whether they're good or bad, towards our account money. The only thing I will do, if there's a great trade, it could still qualify as a trade of the week. You don't have to take a trade of the week for it to be the trade of the week. If there's an incredible move, you can still point it out as being the best possible trade of the week. And I explain everything. We've tested 1 million opening bell trades, Zozo. We've never found one that was reliable. We're actually working on something right now. We're working on something right now. Whether or not we go public with it is unknown. The truth is, the opening bell is completely inconsistent. It really is. It's never the same. It's absolutely never the same. Now, there are people that, they trade it. They have a way. They have a way. It's strictly, the opening is discretionary trading. We've never been able to find a way to do the same setup all the time that worked. We tried so hard at the beginning of the crisis. We were trading micros, and we were trading the NQ and ES, and we just couldn't find a reliable way to do it. And it's partly me too. I don't like trading that way. I don't really enjoy discretionary trading. I like trading by schedule. I love trading by a schedule. So oil's a little bit volatile right now. It's moving a little bit. They're expecting a drawdown of about 1 million barrels. About 1 million barrels. I think I'm just thinking out loud. We have 2 more trades this week. Tomorrow we've got the bond trade, 7-year bonds and natural gas. And then next week is going to be, I didn't do the schedule yet for next week, but should be a busy week. Jobs report, it's a very important report. ADP, ISM, it's going to be a busy week. The most important reports will be coming out next week. Most of the majors. So it should be a fun week. Be a good week to join up with us. Be a good week to join up. All right, we got about 5 minutes until oil comes out. Fred, I'm just curious, what prompted you to tell the gas story? It came out of the blue. It just came out of the blue. Was it just the fact that I was talking about my car? Is that what made you think about it? Oh, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So if I list all the things that my mechanic said was wrong with my car, needs a new steering box, struts, AC is broken, radiator fan is broken, my right window will never go down again. What else? My back hatchback doesn't stay up open, so when you open it, it hits you on the head, falls down, hits you right on the head. What else? Engine-wise. There's an oily head gasket's leaking. Obviously, the air conditioner, as I said, is completely shot. It's only 21 years old, the car. If you saw what it looked like, I don't know what happened to the picture, it it was completely total. My son-in-law completely crashed the car and totaled the whole thing about 7 years ago and rebuilt it from scratch with all different parts that he got like at various junkyards and stuff. So now, after all these years, like one fender looks like it has no paint on it, another fender looks completely different. The hood came from a different place. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's definitely time for a new car, but I don't want a new car. That's the problem. I want to fix it. But my family will disown me if I fix it. They'll kill me. They will beat me to a pulp and never speak with me again if I fix it. It's not that I like the car. I don't have any special feelings for it. I don't care. That's really the truth. I couldn't care less. I don't care about cars. They're just a way to get around. I'm just that kind of person that doesn't care about cars. Never did. I know some people, a car and like a house and a car are like the two most important things in their lives. Some people get so crazy about cars. And I understand it. It's not that I don't understand it. I get it. It's not part of my DNA. Now, I'm a musician. I like music stuff. I'm totally obsessed with music and synthesizers and hard disk recording and things like that. So I totally understand obsessions with things that you love. And, strip clubs, of course. That goes without saying. And of course, I'm kidding. Okay, we got 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes to go. I definitely want to thank all the YouTube folks. Give us a like, will you, folks? Give us a like. You've seen a lot of winning trades. Now, that's the one thing I never did. Are there really companies that will come and pick a car up for free? If like a car is a piece of junk, I see all these ads. Are there really places that will come and take the car away? And they'll give me a couple of $100? So that's not a fraud? I thought that was a fraud for some reason. It just looks like a fraud. All right, so we got 1 minute for crude. We're recording. So the big number is the inventory number. Okay, they're expecting a drawdown of 1 million. Normally, if there's a lot of oil around, it will drive the price down. That's what I thought, Mike, too, that there's a lot of scrap metal in a car, a lot of value there, a lot of value. 30 seconds. Ed, that seems like a good deal that you're getting 850. That seems like a pretty good deal. I won't get 850 for mine. My car's worth 0. It runs. It does run. Right now, I don't have it. My mechanic has it. So there's a drawdown that's a little bit bigger. I can't believe, folks, this is a cancel, official cancel, official cancel. I let it go because it's working. So it would have been a good trade. You know, you could have canceled that because that's the rule. There was more of a little bit more of a drawdown than was expected. So that would make the price go up. There was no downward pressure on crude. So, you know, you could have taken that trade, but our rule is that properly was a cancel. The fact that crude is canceling so often. Now, I may trade it next week. I may trade it next week because a cancel is almost like a stop out. Do you really think it's going to cancel again next week? I don't. I don't. So we'll see. Isn't that crazy, Mike? Isn't that crazy? I mean, officially, that was a cancel. That's why I had to say it. I had to say it. Mike, I hope that I didn't talk you out of trading. I'm sorry if I did. But it was very, you know, you didn't do the wrong thing if you canceled that. I mean, that's the rule. 10 seconds. The news was out. It wasn't like the news wasn't out. Let's look at the video. Let's look at the video. But it just continues the weirdness of the way that crude is trading for the past 4 weeks. 3 out of 4 cancels. It's incredible. And now you have a good move. And investing.com is kind of a pain sometimes. Financial Juice showed the results. Financialjuice.com. Here's the video. Here's the video. I mean, there's not much you can do if a report doesn't respond. It's not your fault. It's not that you did anything wrong. We have a rule. Generally, our rule is in 10 seconds, we cancel crude. Let's see when the news actually showed up. It shows up on a box. And it was just right on time. It was right on time. It just didn't show up on the website part of the investing.com website. And it was a 15-second fill. It took 15 seconds. So, Mark, did you trade your way on that? Did you trade your method? So, did you use the squeeze play? Did you use the squeeze play? Or no? I'll tell you what I would have done. So I'll tell you how I would have traded it if I was using the squeeze play. So Financial Juice, it was good news, right? It was positive. It was positive. So the news is out. There's really not much of a pullback. I guess I would go long around here. I would have put my long order on somewhere around. There was not a lot of downward pressure, not a lot of risk. So just for fun, folks, I'll show you something. So if you download the replay data, right? If you download the replay data, you can replay the trade. Go to market replay, get market replay data. Today's the 26th, so you change the date to the 26th, and you choose Crude 721, download. Okay? So now I've got Crude downloaded. I can change my connection, and I can go to playback. Okay? So you can experiment. Put the date in, 5/26, okay? You got to put the date in, 5/26. Right-click in a blank area. Wait for go to. Now you go to go to. You put the time in, of the trade. So I would put 1029, 1029.54. Okay. And then Ninja has a bug. It's going to make me put the time in again. They claim they don't have a bug. Now today it's working. All right. So now I'll set up my trade. I'm replaying the crude trade. 1 or 2 ticks above the range. Okay. 1 bar look back. 1 bar look back is the way that I would set it up. And you could use a 2 tick or a 1 tick range, okay? And my targets would be, let's say, 7 ticks, 20 ticks, and my stop for each contract would be about 17 ticks. But the key is I want to manually enter, so I don't care what time. I want to use the squeeze play. Now, let me show you why I want to use the squeeze play. When I enable the squeeze play, it gives me all these buttons. The first 2 on the right are to enter the trade immediately, long or short, okay? What we're doing in this particular case, the news was good, and we knew it on Financial Juice. So we're only going to click the 1-click range long button when we think it's safe to go long. So watch. And this is somewhat similar to the way Mark has been trading crude. So I'm going to wait for the news to come out. And when I think the time is right, I'm going to want to go long. There's the pullback. And I'm going to go long somewhere around there. There's my fill. There's my target, first target. And I'll see if I get my next target or if it's going to pull back. And there's my second target. So let's look at that again. All right. Let's look at that again. We'll go back, go to an earlier time, 10:29 and 54 seconds. Replay it again. This is an alternative way of trading a news report. You're going to go the direction of the news. In other words, if the news is good, you're going to trade long only. 1-click range long only. So here's the result, okay? You're watching that clock. The news comes out, oil chops around a bit. All right, pulls back a little bit. So I'll put an order on to go long because I saw on Financial Juice the news was good. And I get filled. Now I will protect my target, my profit, okay, by 1 tick. I can leave my target where it is. No matter what, I made 7 ticks. That was my first target. You can be patient because you're in a profit. You're not going to lose money. You've got some potential areas of targets. The PP might be a target area. The VWAP might be a target area, right? Right there is the VWAP. That's a good target. And if it hits it, you'll get paid. And it does. All right? That's an alternative way to trade the oil report, okay? It's an alternative way to trade the oil report. So I hope I showed you something that might be useful for you that the software can do. All right. Now, why did it put the order where it put it? That's very important to understand. When you look at the software and you choose the squeeze play, it used this one click bar look back. That means it went back one candle from the current price. And it put the order 2 ticks above the candle and 2 ticks below the candle if I was going to be short. If I made it a 1, then it would have entered me at 65 instead of 66. But it uses the bar look back as a range. Think of that. That's how it's placing the order. Once you understand that, you'll have a much better understanding of how to use this feature, okay? So if I go back again, go to 10, 29, 54, a couple of seconds before the news. We know the news is good, so we're only going to go long. Now, it might not work. Doesn't always work. 10 o'clock, the news comes out. We're watching the index. Pops up a little bit, chops around. There's a pullback and a come. But the news is good and oil stops. So you take a shot. Okay, hits the first target. Chase it down and you're done. All right. So Sanjay, if we did it the way that I'm showing, if you do it the way that I'm showing, you could have made 12 to 16 ticks. Somewhere in 12. My first target was 7. My second, I think, was 20 or so. But I could have made roughly 12 to 16 ticks. Yeah, my second target was 20. Probably would have been better at 15. Probably better at 15. I did not trade it live, Sanji, because I'm not trading Crude right now. It's just not behaving well. It would have been a canceled trade live, Sanji. It didn't fill. It didn't fill. When it did fill, after 15 seconds, it made 15 ticks. Sanji, it went 15 ticks, and it was slow. So there was very little slippage. You could have made 15 ticks. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay? It was pretty slow. So I would say you had a 15 tick trade. Very, very possible. All right. The new trap trade is not out yet, Sanjay. I decided to do something different to it. So it's going to be another couple of weeks. Brian, I did not trade live. It would have been a cancel. And Crude just hasn't been behaving well, Brian. So I haven't. And it was 15 seconds until it got filled. Crude's a 10-second cancel. I probably would have canceled it, Brian. I probably would have canceled it. So the way that I was showing, Brian, the trigger is you've got to look at the news, right? You got to look at the news using Financial Juice. Just go by the color on this oil trade. Don't pay attention to the numbers because Mark's been doing it for a year. Just follow the color of the results. If you get green on investing.com, it's a long trade. If you're getting, yeah, it's a discretionary trade, but using the squeeze play, Brian, you're using the squeeze play so that your entry is controlled by the bar look back, like the earnings trades. And normally you just use a 1 bar look back and then ticks above the range, 1 or 2. Yeah, I know. And it's really very specific for this trade, Brian. Follow the color on this trade, and it works quite well. Mark's been doing it for a long time. And he also uses tick strike to help him stay in the trade. But, you know, Mark, it might be an interesting way to change over to really try and trade it this way every week live. It might be something we should try. It's not in my DNA, Brian. That's the truth. It's really hard for me to trade this way. Yeah, I think we're seeing crude and warm weather maybe being problematic. Maybe. Brian, I'm willing to change, you know what I mean? Or to try. I'm willing to try. It's not in our DNA, but we made so many changes to the software. So there is a system that somebody's been trying. But the idea is you you're going to miss the first move, but you'll get the second move. And it almost always has that second move. And then the reason you're taking the second move is in the direction that the news result tells you. That's the key. Take the second move based on the result of the news. And then you try and hold on as long as possible. Distillates had a huge drawdown. But see, distillates aren't that important in the warm weather, Bri. More important in the winter. You know, propane. But who knows with all the people eating outside in restaurants still, but they're not using heaters as much. Who knows, Brian? Honestly, do we ever really know? I don't know. I don't know that we ever really know with crude. That's the truth. Let me get off playback, put the market back on. Yeah, yep. With crude, it's very difficult to know for sure. But see, crude, you could have held on. You could have held on. If you would have survived that pullback would have scared the heck out of you. You might not have survived that pullback. But still, it went up nicely to at least give you 15, 20 ticks. So, Brian, the reason to pull the trigger is strictly that the news said long. That was the only reason. And every week, Mark does it that way. He takes the trade based on the way the news goes. And it got to the PP. I mean, it got to the PP, which is a great target. If you can hold on. It's hard to hold on, but if you can do it, you'll often get rewarded. It's hard. Maybe we'll try it. Try trading this way. On just the crude report. Just the crude report. Because it's a very good report to do it on. It's been working. All right, folks. I'll see everybody tomorrow, early tomorrow, 8 o'clock. All right? I'll see everybody early tomorrow. 8 o'clock. All right? So have a good one, folks. Thanks, YouTube. Hopefully you learned something. You think it's worthwhile. Give us a like. on our stream and sign up for the website and our channel, and hit the notification bell. See you, Ed. Ironically, oil was canceled 15 seconds. That's a canceled trade, officially a cancel. You can't call that a winner, even though it was easy. If you would have stayed in, the news was on time, so you had no reason to really stay in. So it was an official cancel. But that's the way it goes sometimes. You can't worry about it. All right, folks. See everybody tomorrow. Take care.